At the state capitol, talking with State Senator Andrew Chesney. Senator, it was Illinois Agriculture Legislative Day at the Capitol. That's an annual event. A lot of agriculture leaders come to town and also members of the FFA groups from around the state. And you had a chance to speak to them. What did you say today?
Yeah, I had an opportunity as the minority spokesperson to address a wide variety of different people from different groups and largely to celebrate agriculture in the state of Illinois. And we saw Governor Pritzker spend a lot of time in Mexico trying to play mini president and broker deals with Mexico, largely because he has an interest in running for president. And I told him, because he was there in attendance, that the greatest risk, if he truly cared about the family farm and the next generation of farmers, that he needs to support the elimination and full repeal of the death tax. And so we have a couple of bills that we're looking at that don't repeal it, but certainly raise the threshold because this regressive tax is ripping apart these family farms and actually driving these small farms to big corporations. And so it actually has a reverse impact, and it's a big business bill to keep these estate tax in place. And we should just have a full repeal so everybody can keep their homes and their family farms.
You know, it's when you think about it, it's really shameful when you have a family farm that has been in a family for generations and generations, and they get to the point where they're forced to sell because of this tax burden.
Yeah, it eliminates the next generation who have an interest in farming, and it forces these smaller community farms to sell and pushes them into corporations that, of course, become these mega farms. And so if there is an interest with the legislature, which they claim there is, in preserving the family farm, the elimination of the estate tax, or what I call the death tax, or at least increasing that threshold, will help with that 16% state tax that many people are paying. And 16% may not sound like a lot, but the margins on these small family farms are so razor thin. And so when mom and dad pass away and want to pass it to the next generation, that generally puts that next generation out of the farming business and forces them to sell.
This has been an issue for a number of years. It just doesn't seem like it gets anywhere when you have one particular political party that's been in control of the Capitol for a couple decades.
Well, I agree with you, and Governor Pritzker has expressed interest in raising these thresholds that are more in line with the federal government specific to the family farm and the preservation of the family farm. Now, we've seen in many cases in the past what he says and what he does not match. I can always point to the gerrymandered maps on how he would not sign a partisan map. Of course he did, and he did with a smile. And so when I pressed him on this issue today, and I went at him pretty hard on this issue when he was only a few feet away from me, he pulled me aside after my speech and said that he's with me on this and that he just has to come up with a way to pay for it. And I didn't have time to get into it. I just said, get it done. However, we know with over $1 billion they spend on illegal immigrants, the $23 million that this would impact the budget is largely small relative to the $53 billion general fund budget that we have. And I would argue that it's such a regressive tax that we actually lose money in the long run on this issue because we have so many people that are leaving this industry because of this regressive death tax that we have in the state. So I'm cautiously optimistic we may see some movement this year. It's the closest that we've gotten to a solution on it. And all we can do as Senate Republicans is continue to fight for good policies, and this is certainly one of them.
Okay, so we have the rest of April and really most of May to go for the scheduled end of session at the end of May. So I guess we can hope that progress will be made and this well-deserved relief can become law.
Well, that's right. I mean, the important thing is we have to get the governor to stop playing politics and stop having this mini presidential campaign and start focusing on the state of Illinois. I laid out during my speech today that we have the third highest corporate tax rates in the country, the second highest property tax rates, and the governor's sitting there trying to do a photo op with the country of Mexico. And so, if he has an interest in running for president, he can do that at the appropriate time. Now the time is to govern. Now the time is to lead. And we have a lot of people that are getting hammered in this state. And I would point to a couple of data points. The only the only jobs that he has created, net jobs in the state of Illinois, are government jobs, and the only population that he has grown is illegal immigrants. And so that is his track record. And so he could throw a bone to the family farm, and I think he should do it. It's the number one industry in our state. When I said we got to eliminate the death tax, everybody applauded, and he sits there and pretends that he loves the family farm. Well, let's put those words behind some legislation and give these men and women some relief.
All right, Senator Andrew Chesney, thank you.
Thank you.